Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Brett's Brain. Today I'm going to talk about three common mistakes founders make that can have a negative impact on your cap table. If you don't know what a cap table it is, check out our video that walks through the basics of cap tables. All right, so mistake number one, and probably the most common thing I see, is having a ton of dead equity on your cap table or in your ownership structure. So, what is debt equity? Debt equity are shares that you've given out to people or people own, but they're no longer actively engaging or working on your business. The most common reason for this is because a founder started a company with three other people. And at the beginning, everybody owned 25%, and you might have been working nights or weekends. And all of a sudden, only one of you continues to work on the company full time. But 75% of those shares are still outstanding to the other founders and they're no longer actively working on the company. That's dead equity. It's really bad because as you go raise additional capital, you're going to get diluted further and further down. And investors aren't going to want to invest in that company because they want the majority of the ownership to be in the hands of the people that are actively working on building value for the company. And that leads to mistake number two, which is not having proper vesting schedules in place. So, a way to avoid mistake number one, as four founders, would have been to say, hey, let's all get on 4 year vesting schedules, even though we're all co founders, with 1 year cliffs and 3 years of monthly or daily vesting. Then, if people had left after 6 months, all of those shares they owned would have gone back to the company. And so it wouldn't be dead equity. So make sure you put vesting schedules in place to avoid debt equity on your cap table for your co-founders and for future employees. A lot of people think about that for future employees or future hires, but don't actually do it for the co-founders. It can protect the co-founders from themselves. Really important thing to do. And the third mistake that people often make, and sometimes they do it out of necessity, is they bring on too many people onto their cap table for early rounds of investment. So you're trying to raise that $100,000 and you literally go to all of your friends that probably aren't accredited investors, probably don't really know what they're investing in, and you get $1,000 each from 100 people. All of a sudden, you have a huge cap table with a ton of people on it. And honestly, they can't add value and they're going to take a lot of your time up. They're not accredited, and future investors are going to have to come in and clean that up for you. So it makes it harder to raise capital in subsequent rounds. But as founders, it's also more for you to manage. Anytime you have to do anything with your company, you're going to have to go chase down 100 people, and it can be like herding cats, especially if they don't understand early stage investing. So, the one final mistake that I see entrepreneurs commonly make is that they have all different kinds of equity things outstanding or things that convert into equity outstanding, and they're different terms and have different rights. And so you've went out and you've raised 10 different safe notes or 15 different convertible debt notes, all with slightly different terms. That can be a real hard thing for future investors to wrap their head around if they're going to come in and have to clean it up. It's also, again, really hard for the founders to manage. But it's unfortunate. I see that happen all the time where founders just go in and kind of investing as they're building and not doing set standard rounds and just bringing capital in whenever available. And they're changing terms on a deal to deal basis. Don't do that. It can really have detrimental effects to your company further down the line. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe for more.